Hello, my name is Chevalier, and welcome back for another episode of Colombian Space Initiative and Supreme Ruler Ultimate. And yeah, in previous episode, the Germans did quite a bit in Europe. They still haven't won their wars, other than against Belgium, but Belgium is Belgium. So yeah, we're about to get the new consumer goods factory. It's actually going to be completed tomorrow. There we go. So now we should have a pretty good increase on the not only the production, but probably in the sales. Oh, wow, yeah, we're getting about 1.6 million from the consumer goods sales alone. Of course, it does increase the cost of production and all that. Unemployment is a bit low right now, so we do need to be a bit careful with that. What I think I will do, though, is I did shut down one of the coal mines because we still don't use that much coal. So it's kind of pointless to have it on right now because the market price is just very slow. I'm going to scrap the small power plant over there. Not entirely sure if it's going to have a massive impact on the unemployment or not. Probably not. At the same time, we don't necessarily need... Well, I mean, now we are buying quite a bit of electricity, to be fair. We're spending... Well, actually still getting more money from selling the coal, even though we lowered the amount of those sales quite massively. Still getting more from selling the coal than buying the electricity, so it's not really a problem. Armored cars is 2 weeks away from being completed. I'll get the civilian cargo, which is also going to take... Oh, actually, it's going to take a bit more than that. It's going to take 1.5 months. Okay, so it's more than I expected by about a month, but it's alright. The improved materials is going to take a long while, though. But by then, I hopefully have pretty good income. I mean, we already have pretty solid income, and... Oh, actually... The births have started going up again, as well as the immigration. Okay, the population is already 6.5 million. It's currently January 1930. Right, so now that we've got rid of that one, I suppose, how is the unemployment still? 3.3%? I suppose I will scrap these two as well. There we go. So that will increase the unemployment a tiny bit, and by the time we're done with scrapping those, I will probably have enough to start building at least one regular size in here. I mean, we've got a decent bit of industrial goods there. Still supporting the United States, of course. Right, so let's buy a coal power plant. Says that it's 26 million total, so we should be able to build that very cheaply. Well, actually, we started losing a ton of money, but it's the initial investment is always the biggest one. And then once it starts going on its own, it's not too bad. Not to mention now that we are getting the civilian cargo ship there, it's going to be very cheap to reach. Ooh. And Peru wants to buy more industrial goods. That's fine by me. How much do we... Ooh, well, there's actually a bit of a deficit there, to be fair, right now. But once we've completed with the coal power plant, that should be alright. That's going to be done very quickly. Right, so the civilian cargo is only a few $1 million total. So that lowers our expenditures quite a bit. Still getting 1.6 million from the consumer goods sales. Now, of course, since we... Oh yeah, we don't get the industrial goods sales from here, do we? Can we get... Is there... No, there's the taxes and domestic sales, so I'm not entirely sure if we are getting steady cash right now. I mean, I believe we are still selling, so yes, we should be getting a decent bit of money from there. So not clearly listed, I'm afraid. Oh, and is that Merchant Marine? I believe it is, so it's probably going to land around here once again. We've got a few divisions over there. I suppose I could help them by building the railway connection all the way there at some point. This is not a priority right now, really. Now, I think next thing that we're going to do is we're going to gather up enough cash, which we are gaining at decent speed now. Oh, actually, that reminds me. How much do we have of rubber? 8,000 tons. Okay, we need to buy that from the British, which are hostile towards us right now. That's less than optimal. 26 million. You know what? I'm going to start supporting the ruling party. And let's just make sure that we don't... Yeah, I suppose a third of a million, or we'll lower that to 300,000 total. per day, so it doesn't increase the cost too much, but it should help a little bit, and hopefully we can keep the relations with them decent enough. Now that probably means that Germany hates us even more, but I can't really please everyone. Yeah, that should be alright. Now, since we got that one, how much? So we got 460 tons of consumer goods produced right now. Selling more than 200 tons per day. So yeah, we are getting a good amount of money there. And especially since we replenish our rubber supply, so we got for almost 600 days reserves. That's not too bad. At some point we may want to start producing some rubber domestically. But for that we need to have the synthetic rubber, because we don't have any natural rubber present in here, and don't plan on expanding unless I have to. Or conquering other nations, that is. And even if I do, I'll probably just make them a colony or something. Or a puppet. The civilian cargo is going to be almost done. How much do we require for the radio transmitter? Okay, so how much? 118 million. Okay. Should be reaching that in about a month or two. Although, crude materials is a lot more expensive. On the other hand, the time that it's going to take for doing that is so long that, yeah, it's actually not that bad of a price, come to think of it. So we still only have one metal mine right now, which is still feeding all of our industries just fine. I mean, it's only going to be used in industry, and the sale price for that is just, or the market price for that is just too small for us to care about that. Right, once we get that, let's have a look. Is there any other resources that we need to get ourselves? Not right now. Is there better? There is better engineers. Except we don't have the required text for that. So, never mind. There's motorcycle recon, which I suppose we could get. Or the first tank. Oh, actually, no, we don't even have for the first tank. And yeah, we haven't focused a lot on the unit designs, quite frankly. Because it's not really a priority in this. On the other hand, we don't need to worry about what to start researching after this, because it's still going to take more than 3 years again. So we can just focus on buying text from United States, and eventually once we figure out or reach some text that we can start researching through there, after all of these texts that we need first, that we can't buy, so we'll put that into the list. But currently we don't have any in the list, so it's fine. And UK seems to be liking us a bit more now, so that's good. Let's have a quick look. We can get the radio transmitters now, so that's good. It's not going to be cheap, of course. But does that unlock anything in particular here? Radio guidance systems, we can actually buy that as well as this one. Well, if we had the money. I think the next thing we're going to get the commercial food processing. It's going to be expensive, no doubt. But is the knowledge rank is still rank 25, so not great. Right, so how much do we need to pay for this? 196 million. I suppose we can save up for that. At the same time, I suppose what we could do... How much do we have the... Oh right, yeah, we did get the power plant over there. We've got a decent consumption of, yeah. Consumer goods takes about half of our production in industrial goods. At the same time, it will still provide a decent profit, so it's alright. And I believe, judging by the numbers, each ton of consumer goods takes about a third of a ton of industrial goods. As well as a lot of electricity, petroleum, industrial or metal ore, and a bit of rubber. That's not too bad, I suppose. We do need to increase our petroleum production at some point. I mean, currently it's fine, but there is a good potential for the price there. How good is our unemployment right now? 3.6% again. Okay, you know what? How much do we have? It's down to 37,000. Alright, we're still selling the industrial goods for Peru, I believe. That reminds me, does Peru have anything that... Or does... Oh, we do have some text that they might want. 46 million, I'll take that. What about Ecuador? You actually have things that I need, but I'm... can't really afford buying them. We need the money for other things, but yeah, that does take us a bit further away again. Closer to things. What about... Ooh. 56 million for that, I'll take that. We almost can afford the commercial refrigeration, what's that? Food processing, not refrigeration. Close enough. But yeah, we got this area over here. Actually, let me have a look at the commodities. Petroleum, good increase over there. We could actually start setting up some production around here. Might not be the best. Actually, is there agriculture in there? So if we were to build that, we could build agriculture and petroleum production in that same place. That wouldn't be a terrible idea, actually. Still supporting well, also United States, but also UK. They are buying, okay, yeah, Peru is giving us a decent bit of money. And they are actually providing pretty good deals there, so we are actually making profit. Of course, that does mean that we have a bit less to produce or build with ourselves, but I think it's alright. Right, let me actually build a industrial complex. It's fairly cheap, it takes 5,000 tons of goods, but we'll build that. Then we'll start building more agriculture in there eventually. We don't need it right now, but also build some more petroleum production there, and all that sort of stuff, so it's gonna be good. Ooh. Serbia has been eliminated. Oh, that's not good. Also, we've got 200 million. So, how about... I'm gonna quickly check if we can get better price for that. Tiny bit. There we go. I wonder if Venezuela wants to buy that. Nope. They have something that we don't have. What about Argentina? I know that we did... Ooh, you might... Well, nope. You don't really want a tank tech, do you? What about Chile? Atomic fundamentals. 18 million out of that, I'll take it. Basically just selling the techs as much as we can. Well, not necessarily as much as we can, but a decent bit. Because that is basically free money, or paying us... Or getting some of our losses back from buying the techs from the United States. And to be fair, the United States has been selling us the techs fairly cheap. Rainbow class submarine over there. Ooh, what was that? Paris? Have they taken Moscow? Nope, they actually have been put back from Moscow. Oh man, if they could take that one away. I mean, they still have some supplies over there, but that would cut off any reinforcements that they might be getting, so that would be rather handy, but I'm not entirely sure if the Russians have the troops for that. A bit of a pocket there, another pocket over there. So yeah, the Russians are not doing all that strong, although they are only fighting Germany right now, so they can focus on just one front, whereas the Germans are fighting two fronts, Western and the Eastern Front. But I suppose that is Germany for you. Outcome designs and... Oh, Germans have captured a French spy. Alright then. But I suppose that's alright. So, we've got 63 million. How much do we have unemployment? 3.7%. That's not too bad. Actually, how good of a supply do we have here? 70%. That's not bad at all. I'm kind of tempted to actually build a railway connection to there. So that supply should be able to get there even quicker. We'll send you down there. How much does it take industrial goods to build a petroleum or a gas field? 21,000 tons. Okay, that is a bit more than I expected. Don't have that big of a stockpile in there. We are spending a fair bit building the railway over here now. So I think we'll just wait. And once we get maybe another tech, we'll probably start accumulating a bit more. I mean, right now, not to mention, we're using a lot in construction right now, and we're still selling the industrial goods for Peru. So yeah, that's not necessarily the best of options right now, in terms of increasing the stockpile, but what can you do? I mean, one thing that I suppose I could do is lower this back to 0%. Also, how's the price for the... Oh, still about 1200 for the consumer goods. The production price has gone up a little bit, to be fair. And not too badly. Unemployment is 3.7%. So if we could get one or two more things, we could easily get that down to 3.5%. But it does give us a bit of a leeway. 6.6 million population, actually. Getting about 180 million or more extra population per year. At least that's the estimation. So that's not too bad. Actually, one thing that I suppose I could do, we got the money, so if we get the family subsidies up a little bit more, it should increase the birth rate a little bit. If we increase the education, that's going to lower the birth rate, but I think that's social assistance. That might increase if there's a lot of unemployed people, though, so there's a bit of a problem there, but I think that might at least increase... Well, first of all, domestic approval rating is 32.6%, so we don't need to worry about any elections right now. Not to mention the next election is still pretty far away anyway. Right over there, we could increase the coal power plant the power production there. Of course, we aren't actually spending still particularly much money. It's still about the same amount of money that we get from coal sales, so it's basically negated with that. We can't really lower the coal production even further, right? Well, technically we could, but it would come very close, so I'd rather not. Especially since we do want to increase the electricity production at some point again. Alright, so it looks like we got the railway construction over here. 66% supply. That might be improving every now and then. 74. Well, 76% or 75% around there. So it means that over here it's probably going to be around 70%. Maybe a bit lower on average, but close to 70% nonetheless. So if we build more... Oh, and it's probably about the same actually as over there. Although the terrain around here is more beneficial, at least over there. So that means that this might actually have a bit better supplies, but there's a lot more oil being produced there, or petroleum being produced there. Right, we got 160 million right now. Is there anything that we could buy from the United States? Radio guidance system is probably one thing that we could. Synthetic fuels would have to wait a little bit longer. Marine steam turbine, monoplane construction. Oh, actually, that's a cheap one. That's going to unlock a lot of the unit designs now. Not to mention that might unlock some, yeah, improved military logistics. I'll put that on the queue there then. Anything in transport, not ready. Okay, so it didn't unlock all that much, but it did unlock a little bit. Right, so what would be the next one? Anti-aircraft gunnery, maybe? We could get that. Artillery bore improvements wouldn't be a bad one either. Early submarines we still don't have. Kind of tempted to get the basic particle acceleration, but that is expensive. And that is kind of a problem. It would increase our... Actually, let's have a look. So, is that in tech knowledge? Yes. Fission experiments, which we cannot buy. It's bloody expensive though. And improved particle sources. Okay, so both are kind of important. What does the advanced vacuum tubes? That we need modern microscopes, and for that we need improved materials. Okay, so that's gonna have to take a while. Right, so if we go back in here, what about the radio guidance system? How much would we have to pay for that? 130 million. I think we could afford that, and Peru is still buying industrial goods for us. Fine. Right, so 130 million, we should be getting that right about now. Just gonna check if we can get better. Nope. Okay, 130 million it is. Just making sure. So we got the radio guidance systems. Did that unlock anything? Not necessarily right now. It might be prerequisite for some other stuff. Oh, Brazil is wanting to buy the industrial goods as well. Okay. Maybe we should start producing more then. Because it looks like I'm making massive cash from that. Of course, the stockpile is now going down a little bit. Oh, actually not yet. Not yet. It's close, but it's not yet going down. On the other hand, got unemployment 3.8%. If we could gather up the money to build another industrial goods factory over here, we could then increase the production rates. And of course, then we need to start figuring out where to build the next ones. Because we can't really build over there, and I want to keep each of these cities just focused on one thing right now. We could of course make just industrial facilities right next to in here to be good supply areas, or we could start building more over there. The supply rates over here are still pretty decent, so we could easily work with that area. There's already one consumer goods factory there, so we could for example start building over there more industrial goods. That's not actually a terrible idea. We could even get a supply depot over here, so that would increase the supplies around here to pretty close to 100%. How is the unemployment now? 3.8%. How much do we need money to build? I know that we need about 34,000. Ooh, it's 100 and... Okay, so we need to save up quite a bit of cash if we want to build another industrial goods factory. Okay, but we're making pretty good money from selling the industrial goods to both Brazil and Peru. Which both seem to be, if not liking us, then be quite content with us being here. Paris is still kind of threatened by the Germans, and the French lost that area again. How about the Germans over here? So they managed to take large swaths of land over here, which is a bit interesting. On the other hand, there's probably nothing really... Well, there's some things that are providing supplies, but not a lot in there. So I'm kind of tempted to see how well the Soviets can push the Germans back, if they can. I mean, the Germans must be rather hurting for military goods right now. I'm not entirely sure who we are selling our military goods. It's just going for the global markets, and whoever is allowed to buy from us is buying them. Which is all the nations in the world right now. Of course, not all the nations need them, but if we have a look... Germany is the top importer, so it's most likely that we are selling a little bit of our goods for them. Japan is the second largest importer, then Great Britain, Netherlands is actually importing quite a bit. That's a bit surprising. They're not even in a war. Also, they have a lot of research facilities there. And it's something that we still want to build, but at the same time, how much does it cost again in goods? 31,000, okay, that's not that much. It's the money that is the problem, of course. So we technically do have the goods if we want to start selling, but I think increasing the production right now is more important because we're making good money from selling just these. We still want to accumulate a little bit of a stockpile nonetheless, so yeah, that's going to be a potential problem. But yeah, we are having pretty good income there. The expenses are not massive right now, although the research is taking... Okay, it's less than 700,000 right now. Right, so we've still got 100% supplies there. We've got $100 million right now. So far the economy is doing actually fairly well in here. Consumer goods... Oh right, we're selling about half of the production into the global... Well, actually... No, I'm going to increase that to 100% of the extra. I mean, we got a stockpile of 14,000 consumer goods. If things start going badly, we can start selling a bit less to the international markets. Pretty much same around here. We can start selling everything. We're not making a lot of money through there. We've got plenty of oil as well, so I'm going to increase the sales of that a tiny bit. Rubber, we've still got 25,000 in the stockpile. We've got pretty good food stockpile over here as well, so we don't really need to save anything from that. Increase the minimum price to about 60 right now, because that's the production cost. So yeah, we should be doing... Okay, sales, we get 3 million right now. 1.7 million of that is consumer goods. Has the margin widened a little bit? Like maybe at $10 per ton. So not a lot, but Still making a good profit out of that. There's no denying that. Right, but it would appear that we are once again out of time for this episode, so what I'll probably do once again is I'll skip ahead a little bit. I'll probably start building the industrial goods factory over here, and we'll see kind of what happens in the world. I mean, currently it's just building up our economy so that we'll have robust enough economy to start expanding our research facilities, and then we'll start researching things as quickly as possible. At the same time, we're trying to buy a lot of the technologies that we can, and that way we can hopefully keep things running smoothly enough. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.